Dragon's Dogma 2. I can't believe it's over. I beat the game. I think I'm over like 60 hours. Now, I've not finished the game. I've already started my second playthrough. And I am having just as much fun. Heck, I think I'm having more fun now that I'm used to the game again. Knowing how certain quests end. Let me give some context. Usually, when I beat games like this, I don't do a lot of exploring. I do a little bit of exploring, and then I continue the main quest, because I already know I'm going to play the game a second time. And my second playthrough is always my big exploration playthrough, where I just look at everything. Right now, I've restarted the game as a mage. Last time I was a fighter to warrior, played around with trickster, and then ended on thief. This time I'm going in a mage, sorcerer, and I want to end up on what's it called, Mystic Archer or something like that. Anyway, I want to talk about this game because I love it so much. Let's talk about the character creator. The character creator is much better than the first one. I don't even think the first one was that bad at the time. It's actually really good at the time, but this one's pretty good too. And well, it's not the best one I've ever seen. It's still fantastic, and I have a lot of fun with it. I love seeing all everybody's creations, all the goofy stuff, all the cool stuff, all the funny stuff, whatever. I've seen so many Game of Thrones characters. I've seen so many Witcher characters, and pretty much anything you can think of. I wish I had footage of those characters, but I do not. I myself have made a Fire Emblem character in my second playthrough. I made Edelgard from that series, and she's more popular than my last one. My last one was just some generic elf I made. Which, by the way, we do have to talk about the pawns next. The pawns system is so good. I always thought so, even in the first game. It's even better now. It's one of my favorite things about the whole game, because you get to see, like I said, everybody's creations, see how creative everybody gets. I feel like sometimes I build connections with other people's pawns, and it just feels so good. Sometimes I legitimately feel bad about losing certain pawns and say, you're too low level now, I have to move on from you. So I'll like favorite some pawns to see if they level up with me, and sometimes they do. Sometimes I get to use them again later. I love that you can set quests for your pawns and stuff like that, and I can do quests for pawns that I hire. As far as the Dragon's Plague stuff goes, I don't mind that, because it's pretty easy to spot, I think, and I can deal with the problem right then and there. But usually maybe I'll do like do they have a quest I gotta do real fast? I gotta go do that quest real fast. then we'll throw them into the river or something. Speaking of characters and pawns and whatnot, I love that you can still pick classes for your pawn. I wish that your pawn had more options. It kind of sucks that they only have just that little bit they can use. I don't mind Arisen exclusive classes, but I wish the pawns had more they could use. But overall, it's still very fun and not really that big a deal, since I can still use a lot of classes for myself and still have a blast. In the last game, I really loved the mage class. A little sad to see that what was it called, Mystic Knight class isn't in this game. I know we have the spear one now, which I do need to give that one a shot too. But I like the idea of being this knight that could cast like magic and stuff and enchant his armor or enchant his shield and sword. But it's all good. I can still go back and play the first game. I love the first game still to this day. Yeah, I guess my favorite new class. I only tried one of the new classes now that I think about it, which was the Trickster, which was a lot of fun. And I was like, dang, I can see myself doing a full playthrough of this. I just wish you could get it earlier. But yeah, really fun looking class. Maybe I'll play around with it again with my mage. We will see. Okay, let's move on to the journey itself. I tell you what, even with the first game, and now especially this game because it's so much bigger, nothing makes you feel like you're on a Lord of the Rings adventure than Dragon's Dogma. And now especially Dragon's Dogma 2, with the scale being much bigger. I'm so glad that fast travel works the way it does. I think that if you could fast travel anytime you wanted, it would dull the experience a bit. I remember a time where I was watching someone play Skyrim, and they were doing like a no fast travel run, and the experiences they had were so much different than the ones I had, because I was always fast traveling everywhere. So they were seeing a lot more things than I was seeing, and I was like, wow. So when I think about like Dragon's Dogma right now, I'm thinking like, oh, man, fast travel kind of ruins the experience sometimes. But I get that that's not like for everybody. I'm not going to talk about the microtransaction stuff because I don't care about that stuff. It doesn't bother me. It's there. I'm never going to use it. The only thing I'm ever going to pay for is if they actually release like gameplay DLC, which I'm sure they will because they did that survey thing. But yeah, I mean, I love games like Elden Ring, all the Dark Souls games and whatnot, other games like that. But I mean, nothing gives you the same feeling that Dragon's Dogma 2 gives you. I guess maybe a Skyrim kind of does, but in Skyrim, when you're traveling with a companion, it doesn't feel the same as when you're traveling with a pawn. When you're talking about pawns, for some reason, the experience is much greater. Maybe because there's 4 of y'all total. I don't know. Maybe it's because the pawns can do more, like falling from somewhere high and them catching you is always a really good experience. I don't know. It's just, you get to build this little team, and the game is built around you having that team. And I think it's a really great feeling. Okay, let's talk about the monsters, right? So, not a lot of different monsters from the first game compared to the first game. Obviously, I think there's a lot of misconception or misunderstanding. I don't know what word would be best here. A lot of people saying that, oh, there's way more monsters in the first game, but I think a lot of people are talking about Dark Arisen, right? Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, because like that game added more monsters. The base game, I don't think had more monsters than the second game, at least none that I can remember. The second game has pretty much all the monsters from the first game, but it doesn't have the Hydra and it doesn't have the cockatrice. But it does add in, the Medusa, and then it adds in, who am I forgetting about here? Oh, the Dolian. But yeah, it has all the monsters from the first game, pretty much. It has a couple of new goblins. Anyway, I think I might make a favorite boss monsters list video type of thing, maybe. But I do think your experience with each boss monster will be different depending on what class you did, so maybe your favorite might be different because of that. It does seem like something that would be fun to do. Outside of all this, exploration is so good in the game. Maybe the quests aren't as good as say The Witcher or Skyrim and that, or Oblivion especially. But I think the combat makes up for a lot in that area, because the combat is so good. It's so good to run around with the whole full party. It gets easier as you go because your characters get so strong that the regular enemies aren't even a threat anymore. It's all about the boss monsters at some point. Anyway, I just wanted to gush about this game. Not much else to say. Love the game. Still playing through it even now. I'm really late on making this video just because I've been so busy and I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.